Hey everybody, Tyler Waite, Hands and Health Chiropractic. We are welcoming Brendan Tighe, who is a longtime practice member in his family and a local surfer. He's become a little bit of a regional legend, shall we say, since you were the guy that jumped off the 20-foot wave a couple weeks ago. So we just wanted to take the opportunity to kind of check in and chat and sort of share what we do and how our service sort of benefits him in what he does. So before we really get into it, I just wanted to first and foremost introduce you, but also ask you to give us a little bit of background on yourself and your relationship with the ocean and sort of all things surfing.
Yeah, happy to. What's up?
Well,
So yeah, I'm Brendan Tighe. I've been seeing Dr. Tyler for over a decade. He fixes me up when I wipe out and weekly. We met through mutual friends, the refer your friend classic story. But yeah, my wife had been seeing Tyler and doing yoga for a long time. She recommended Tyler to me, and here we are a decade later. I surf semi-professionally. I don't know what you would call it. I don't get paid, but
there are perks.
yeah, there are perks. And yeah, so I tend to wipe out a lot on big waves. My primary goal for surfing, as Tyler knows, is kind of go on the biggest, craziest waves that I can find in this area, and it does serve them up, quite a few times a year. And yeah, that's comes with its risks and rewards. And with the risks part of the wipeouts, Tyler's here to put me back together. But yeah, I've been surfing for about 25 years, and I've been wiping out for the same amount of time.
And for those of you who don't know, we are in coastal New Jersey. We are currently 3/4 of a mile from the ocean right now. So surfing, skateboarding is all things that we all sort of grow up mutually involved in.
Yeah.
And all of the things and impacts that come with it.
Yeah.
So I guess first and foremost is, how do you like to use chiropractic and how does it benefit you personally and functionally in terms of your sport and your performance?
For me, for what you do for me is crucial because I have a couple hindrances with my spine. He could probably tell you better than I can, but it's like I was born with slight scoliosis, and I have what I'm told is called a sway back, which means my pivot point, and correct me if I'm wrong, is in a different point than most spines, where people hinge at the hips. I hinge at my lower back, which is a benefit for surfing, but also a hindrance because I pull my back out all the time. And Dr. Tyler will tell you I'm calling him up every other week. I'm here weekly, but there's all kinds of at-home visits and whatever I need, which he hooks me up. So thank you.
It's interesting because between you and some of the other guys I work with, I feel like surfers with flat spines surf really well. And I don't know if spines get flat from surfing so much, or if it's just like what makes some of you guys so good at what you do, because it makes it really easy to extend and to keep weight off the nose.
Is that what it is? Is it flat or is it extra curved? I've always been curious.
I mean, the scoliosis is an extra curve to the side, but I feel like the way you describe your sway back and your pivot point, but even some of the other guys I see that who we're not going to talk about by name, tend to have really flat spines. So I think it all helps that the extension and dialing.
With my pivot point being here.
So easy, so much easier to keep your weight off your nose.
But yeah, so I taught surfing for 15 years and still an ambassador for a surf school, but I taught probably over 1,000 people how to surf, and you see all spines, all walks of life, all shapes and sizes, and you see those people who are on board and they're looking. You see their eyes at the top of their head trying to look, and you're like, that can't be comfortable. And I'll be like, all right, pretend I'm a puppet master trying to pull on your head. How high can you pull your head? Can you get your neck up? And people just can't do it. So it's like it really opened my eyes to like how much of an advantage it may be. And I'm very curious to see if it was like nature versus nurture or
Totally.
Actually, I have a shirt on that says nature versus nurture, ironically. But yeah, because I'm curious. I've been surfing since I was so young. That like how's my body adapted to surfing so much? And that's really a genuine question I have for you.
Yeah, no, I totally think so many of us start surfing at young ages. I was probably like 12, 11 when I got my first surfboard, and I was bodyboarding before that. I think it's totally part of the morphology and maintaining the mobility. Years and years ago, I read an article in Surfer where they talked about how longboarding and shortboarding put different stresses on the spine. And shortboarding creates this thing while longboarding creates this thing. Because kind of like Stratton, that's 24-year thing. I mean, it's with her, total uniqueness.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we overwhelmingly also live in between our arms. So our life happens in front of us, in between our arms in this space.
Like that.
So everything you said about it does, there is a whole population of people who don't extend it, who don't pick their head out, and who never look. So it becomes harder and harder in the spine. That's how we become little old people.
Totally. And it's got those with it. To answer my own question a bit, like you think about people who do other sports, football or, baseball, someone who could swing, does 500 swings a day.
Right.
Like their body's got to adapt to that.
Right.
Like for swimmers, and not just surfing, but like you build your lat muscles up. Like a lot of us in this area are built like upside down triangles. Like I have chicken legs. Right. And because I drag my body around all day, but my upper body is fairly strong. And, that's got to be a part of it. And when you do it that much, anything's got to change. It's just like landing, I guess.
Right. And to your point, the surfing's not just something you can go do. So we have to take the waves when they come.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately here's the middle of the winter most of the time.
And for those of you guys who don't surf, it's always at an inconvenient time. So I'll take this time to apologize to my close ones who things I've skipped, and oh man, the times I've got myself in trouble not being where I'm supposed to be. But you can't time the waves. You can't time it. Well, it's never a good time, and especially if there's a few days in a row, that's never a good outcome. It's crazy because you'll be happy as a clam, but everyone around you is so upset with you.
I got for you.
Right. How many times have we done it to you?
All the time.
Probably like 50-50.
Right.
Like, so that's all right. Again,
so let's talk a little bit about, aside from morphology of the spine and keeping it moving, performance, because so much of the chiropractic objective is maintaining a free and clear nervous system for optimal communication. And I feel like in so many athletic disciplines, a 16th of a second of reaction time or an 1/8 of a second of reaction time makes all the difference at a high level. So what can you sort of say about performing at a high level with things that move fast and get real big real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Waves are so unique. You never know what you're going to get. You can't really practice for a certain wave. That's what makes the sport so beautiful, is because it's different every single time you paddle into a wave. And you have to be prepared for every single scenario, or the consequences are very crucial. And as the waves get bigger, you can tell. Like, if you ever seen someone on, the news that's fallen on a 60-foot wave, that's one wrong move and they're underwater for half a minute and, potentially 9. So it's, the bigger the waves you get, the more risk it is. But to answer your question the long way around, this will kind of go over the heads of people who don't surf, but there's ways to bounce into waves. It's as if, so when a wave is coming in, you have to essentially match the speed of it before you can catch it. But there's a way where you can stay put and bounce and use that trajectory to enter the wave. And if you don't have the mobility or flexibility or mindset to be able to do that every time, or you do that incorrectly, that's when I'm sure you'll see a clip in this video of if you mistime that, you're forced to jump off the top of the wave or just have a horrendous wipeout. So it's staying in shape, flexible, helps you adjust better, first of all. But also, for me, regular chiropractics is just keeping me loose, keeping, the blood flowing, my brain relaxed, and being exactly how I need to be in the ocean to be fully concentrating at the best of my ability. Chiropractics does wonders. And just like anything else in the world that you enjoy, you won't really find yourself somewhere weekly or bi-weekly or monthly if you're not enjoying it. So clearly I come here every single week, and it benefits my life. I walk out of this door and I feel myself thinking clearly, and not even like as a plug, but like how many times have I got adjusted by you and I said, oh my God, I think that was the best one. Yeah. It's like every time I leave, I'm like, I always say that, but it feels that way every time because I can think. It's like I can feel the rewards from it. So it's beautiful.
I mean, that's one of my goals is, right, if we're not trying to make it better than the last one, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah. And like it's clear as day to me. Like I've been getting adjusted before I've even met you since I was a kid. And, I'm a lifer. I posted something on your wall. Chiropractics is like gravity. And even though you may not be able to see it, it's still
Works whether you believe it or
It
not.
works whether you believe it or not. Yeah, and that's so true. And I maybe take a picture of him and put it on my story because it's like clear as day to me. And I've seen so many people resist or fight it or say negative things about it. I'm like, you're missing out. Like you're probably thinking that way because you don't get adjusted.
I mean, much like surfing, the fun of it on my end is that every adjustment's different. Like the same spine, the 100th time, the subluxation's different, the angles are different, the depth is different, the arc is different. So like it's such a parallel in that sense that like it's all about dialing it in and matching it, and delivering in the right way at the right time.
And I feel your techniques when I'm being adjusted by Dr. Tyler, they vary sometimes. And I used to ask a lot of questions during the adjustment. And then I was thinking about it from my perspective. If I were in his shoes, like he's extremely focused doing something for my body. It's better for me to just be adjusted and ask questions after, because just like with surfing, when you're in tune with the ocean, like you are in tune with people's bodies, and it shows. And it took me years to be like, yo, just shut up and get adjusted and then ask the questions after, because I'm genuinely interested. I almost went to school for chiropractics, and I also almost became a massage therapist when I was trying everything. But I'm really intrigued by how people's bodies work. And I think I have that feeling of where you feel someone's tension or something like that. So I know what it probably feels like on a very novice level to be a chiropractor, to help somebody do that. And I've always been intrigued by it. So you constantly answering my questions. I talk a lot. So you're good for that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So what else do I like to say? So I like to believe that, one of the things I say all the time is whether we seek to sort of enhance our human performance, not just athletically, but in all ways, right? We've talked about muscle firing. Whether we seek to enhance our human performance, to increase our ability to resist or recover from injury or illness, or expand our consciousness, right? There's always a benefit to getting adjusted and doing so regularly.
Absolutely.
So in terms of expanding consciousness and enhancing our ability to perceive ourselves and our world around us and have a different degree of clarity, as you mentioned, what's your take on that?
I mean, I have a perfect example. I have one instance of I was extremely stressed. This was almost 2 years ago, and I still remember it clear as day. I'm a real estate agent. I had 16 transactions going on at the same time. I had just hired an assistant to help me because I was so stressed. I think my wife was pregnant, and my world was on fire. And I came here, and I didn't you should always get regularly adjusted, but I was like, I need an adjustment just to be in the environment. I think I feel fine, but I'm stressed to the gills. And you adjusted me, my body moved a certain way that I hadn't felt it move before. And I think it was due to stress when it's normally due to surf maintenance. And it released so much tension. And I walked out and my phone had 75 text messages or something real like that, just from the hour that I was here, or less, whatever it was, a half hour. And I laughed, and when I was coming in and I threw my phone to just get away from it for a second, I was ready to cry. And I was like, well, there's just the benefits right there, because I'm smiling, I'm happy, I can think clearly, I can go at this in a different mentality because my body is loose and, the messages are getting where they need to go. Right. And I'm going to answer those messages.
I find on so many levels, stress is probably the primary force that backs upon us. Athletics is stressful, work, life, parenting is stressful, digesting dinner is stressful. Hopefully we get more energy than we spend. Sure. But when we get real and we talk about it being an energetic thing, physics says it can be created and destroyed. It has to be stored or transferred. So in my world, so often the body's really, really awesome at turning stressful forces into something productive. That's how we survive. But like anything else, we can overwhelm our capacity for adaptation. And that's when sort of subluxation in the spine, or meltdown, or dysfunction begins to appear in life. And we get overwhelmed. We can bend a stick until it breaks.
Yeah. And to your point, over the past couple of years, I've been finding a more spiritual connection with this world. I can't explain it, but the way that Tyler practices on me, I'll speak for myself, is I can feel. It's almost like a Reiki. I've never had Reiki done, but I can feel his energy when he's assessing my body before he does the adjustment. And it's just I give my everything over, I loosen up and I give my whole mindset over to relax, to allow him to do his job the best. And I feel that energy, and I feel it when I get here. I get excited for it, and I leave happy. And that's not because my spine is cracking or my bones are moving around. Like, that's an energy, and I feel that in this place. Like, this place is great, and just with you, so that's speaks for itself. And there's really no incentive for me to be here to type up Tyler. I wasn't asked. I think like this was a mutual idea because I really want to just spread the word of his chiropractic, and like, it really has changed my life. I think there's no way I could have exceeded to where I've been in surfing without being regularly adjusted and having the benefit of a great friend doing it. Is like, it's so much less stress. It's not a chore. It's something I look forward to. And whether we were friends, we weren't friends prior. So we became friends, but like, I don't look at this like a doctor's visit. I don't look at this like a checkup. I look at this as like a benefit to my life that's necessary and makes me a better person.
I appreciate it. I mean, I get away with not wearing shoes because I try to make this as least doctor-y as possible,
You do a good job.
But I think everything you said is totally true. I mean, that's what I got in my adjustments. And the you can see it with the kids. And like, I had the privilege of like taking care of both you and my wife like through pregnancies. It's night and day. And same with the kids, because the kids have so much less interference, right? The kids' lives are the way they should be. There's minimal stress outside of jumping off the furniture once in a while.
Absolutely.
So they process it and they get up and they're like...
Yeah. And I'll speak for my son too. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I had it.
Like, for my son, I'll speak, like, I have my son gets adjusted. My daughter, who's 1.5, gets adjusted. My son was adjusted the week he was born at our house. Dr. Tyler came to our house and adjusted him. I think Judy too.
Probably.
My daughter as well. Yeah, so they've been introduced to this lifestyle since they were little. And, he's been coming to the office with me and with my wife, and we all get adjusted as a family, and we're always welcomed. And I have a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old. I'm a scatterbrain. I got a lot going on. My wife's got a lot going on. And never once, like, we've personally put Tyler through the ringer. I don't know if you want to put this in there or not.
No, fine.
But like, we put Dr. Tyler through the ringer with scheduling, and there's never any, it's not an inconvenience. Come whenever you can. Happy to see you whenever you can make it. And it's like, I now I respect his time so much because I've never been met with any negativity out of you in my life. And it's been 10 years. And that's hard to do because, we all have our flaws, and respecting people's time was one of mine that I've been working on over the last couple of years. But I was really thinking about how much people's time I've wasted in my life in general, not like on purpose or horribly, but like I'm habitually 10 minutes late, and that can throw off a whole day for a chiropractor. But there's never any resentment. It's always positivity. You show up with 2 crazy kids jumping off the tables, and it's just smiles and laughs the whole time. And I'm never waiting too long. Like, we respect each other, and it's just a beautiful experience. And whether I went to any chiropractor or not, like, there's no way I would ever go anywhere else. You're so diligent with us. He reaches out to us to see when we want to come in weekly. Like, who does that? And I'm just grateful to have you in my life.
Appreciate it, sir.
Or our lives.
Anything else you want to say about the culture and the community or anything else?
Yeah, I'll say. So one thing I do want to say about the surf community is that I've referred ROF up here. Refer your friends. I referred a handful of friends in here, and they've all had nothing but great experiences. Other families, I think there's 3 or 4 other families who are best friends with us, and it's just become a unified part of our lives now. And it's like, hey, what are you up to? And it's like, I'm at Tyler's. It's not, I have to go to the chiropractor. It's like, now it's my little kid's best friends, their parents, mutual friends who are surfers, my best friends who of years have come in here. My in-laws, like, everybody is just part of this sphere, and it's like a club.
Yeah.
And it feels just awesome because I'm never going anywhere. I'm extremely grateful. And if you say we're at Tyler's, everybody knows exactly what that means. Like, it's your house. Like, it's like your space. It's not a doctor's office. It doesn't feel like that.
Right.
I mean, it is a doctor's office, but it feels,
I always think of it as community. I try not to put it in like doctory terms and say it's an office. It's a space for sure. but more than that, as a community. We have this beautiful community around us of adults and athletes and parents and families and like blue collar workers and white collar workers and like, like all the people that represent our local community. And, we're just lucky enough to take care of this subset of it.
Absolutely.
Guess what we do?
Yeah. And you do a great job at it. The last thing I'll say is all you surfers, check Tyler out. He'll give you a great initial appointment. He'll educate you on how he does his chiropractic work, which is hugely beneficial. And also it really, really helps you in the ocean. So I could attest to that. Whether I had a sway back scoliosis or not, I'd still be here, at least monthly. So it's benefited me in the ocean. It's allowed me to paddle faster, stronger, and clear-headedly. So do yourself a favor, check out Hands on Health for sure.